Hey, what's up, guys? I was just listening to music, and while I was listening, I realized I could feel the pressure. The organic portal pressure, or the pressure of the surface virus. Some of you around the joint, around, I don't know, the organic portals movement, other people's channels, so on, I've seen people comment that they get like an anxiety. And that's what I'm talking about. You can feel their pressure on your nervous system. This whole physical reality is what I call the surface. Remember, you've heard me talk about this, the second dimension. And then I sometimes mention 2D organic portals. So I've been at this camping for this camping Marindia for like 2 years now. And every time that they're listening to me, I can feel them. Whether I can hear them or not, but often I can also hear them, the fucking idiots. And they're simple, right? They'll never catch me doing anything because I can feel them. It's not even about just hearing them, I can feel them. And, you know, some of you also know about the energy vampire sucking tentacles. So you can feel all this. And, you know, this is the surface virus, and this whole physical reality is the surface. You're looking down and backward. You're not looking in, on, and upward in yourself. And with the physical eyes, is always delayed and lagging because it takes time for the physical light to bounce around. And you know, I call this the surface virus. Yes, this whole place. I'm going to talk about it. You know, it's also named the energy extraction matrix, or the secondary matrix, secondary feminine matrix. These are all descriptors, but another way to look at it is a surface virus. And these people are like a virus. And like I can feel coronavirus, I can also feel these organic portals. When you get coronavirus, it's like a fever pressure. You know, that pressure on the body when you get any virus, any flu virus, whether it's the rhinovirus or the coronavirus family. They're the two main viruses that us humans catch. The flu viruses, it's the rhino or the coronavirus. Now, it's the same thing with these organic portals. There's the robotic portals and then just the normal organic portals. There's two types of virus organic portals, in other words, and I can feel them, and they feel different. The robotic portals have less of a pressure and more of a sound of screeching and pain, and the organic portals are more like a blunt blob pressure. And that's not to mention the tentacles, the energy vampire sucking tentacles. But they're dumb as shit because they'll never catch me doing anything, whatever they're trying to catch me doing, because I can feel them from distance. Let alone hear them, you know, physically with my ears as well, because I've got supersonic hearing. That's what happens. That's another light body skill. When you have a light body, you should be able to have supersonic hearing. And not only that, I've spent a lot of time in forests meditating, connecting, and, you know, I'm well aware of the fifth dimensional telepathic layer. Telepathy comes in on the fifth dimensional layer. So I can feel them there as well, and in the fourth dimensional sense. And then physically in the second dimensional physical particle sense as well. So all in multi-dimensional fashion. This is why they can never, ever, ever in my whole life for anything beat me. And I also know how to disappear in different dimensions. So I'll mention that one time. We'll talk about that in a different video. But they're dumb as shit because they'll never catch me doing anything because I can literally feel when they're around. Remember, there's a video I made, how we know it's called The Ultimate Way We Know When Organic Portals Are Around. And I mentioned in that video, like when they get close, you feel sick, like in the stomach, to the stomach, and you'll feel like woozy. They activate, you know, any bacterial layers that you have in your body on your mucosa membrane, they activate that because their bacteria of their mucosa are talking to your body's mucosal bacteria. So the more sugar products you have, the more you're able to feel on that layer, the bacterial connection. But and that's right on the surface layer. Right, this is second dimensional, and you know I can feel it all the way through in different dimensions. We'll talk about it another time, but this is what all I wanted to say for this video. You can literally feel them, and because I'm a chi master, there's something called the body PSI. That's right, pressure per square inch. PSI, like a tire, when you pump up a tire. This is called the Chi Kung Shield. You can listen to Mantak Chia talk about it and teach about it. Hell, I can teach about it. But yeah, it's just body pressure. It's like a type of pressure of the light body pushing up onto the surface body. And this is how all the Chi masters withstand, you know, you see all the monks getting hit with sticks in the stomach and stuff, and they break a stick over their arm or a brick over their head, right? And then, or they put that, the spear to their throat, and the spear doesn't go through the soft part of their throat. What's going on? Not even a cut, not even a scratch. That's Chi Kung Shield. This is why nobody can hurt me, and I'm not afraid. I don't have to walk around with fear, because they literally, like, if I get punched or something, I've been in many fights in my life. When I was growing up, I was way more crazy than I am now, and you know, nobody could ever hurt me in a way when I had awareness, like in a fight. Maybe if they come up behind you, and you know, before I was a master, I couldn't sense it quite as much, or I wasn't as alert to it. But these days, you can't even sneak up behind me. I know what's there, and I've even mentioned recently about invisible suit super soldiers, and it's very interesting. I could also hear them, but I think their prerogative is to not get caught, and I reckon their program would be something like, if you get caught, you get kicked out, because they're not afraid to come near me. But once they realized I knew they were present, these super soldiers in invisibility cloaks, for real, because the Japanese invented that 6 years ago, the light bending cloak, and then I showed you guys recently the meta material that bends the lights and diffracts it, so you can put an object behind it. It's like this plastic glass stuff. Remember that video? Go back on my channel. It was on that Daily Dose of Internet YouTube channel, and I just took the segment from their channel. And so we know invisibility materials exist, both meta materials and the one I showed you, and then the Japanese created like a literal suit which bends the light around it. So there's multiple forms of this. This is not conspiracy. This really exists. Why don't you do your research? And so I could also hear and feel when they were around. Now these suits have some interesting properties because I could feel them differently. I want to do a whole video on these super soldiers with the invisibility suits. I remember in 2014 also watching a YouTube video when one was caught on video, and you could see it. You can only just see them, because like if they're moving, the back, it looks slightly distorted to the background. I don't know if that footage is still up on YouTube. I have no idea, but soon I want to create a video, and we'll even search for it on YouTube. Probably not even on there anymore, right? After so long, I doubt they would let that be on there, but I don't know, maybe. Anyway, so you can feel these people around you. It's a pressure, or you'll get sick from the worms in their stomach, or you'll get sick from the bacterial colonies on the mucosa membrane, or you'll both clear your throats at the same time. They'll clear their throat and you'll need to clear your throat, or vice versa, when the bacterial colonies are connecting. And, you know, these are different layers. And then there's, you know, also you can feel the energy suckers, which is their focus. and it's what people call the energy vampire tentacles, right? The suckers. You can actually see if you type in energy vampires just on Google Images. I'm pretty sure that's what I typed in to see some artistic drawings of this. So you can see some artistic notions of other people like me who have actually made artwork out of this concept, and you should have a Google on that. But you can feel this stuff. So I can feel like the tentacles attach, and what I do is basically you shove it off like with chi. It's chi that shoves it off. You heal it with, higher energies like prana and Reiki, because Reiki is 7th dimensional, Diksha is 8th dimensional, then you got 10th dimensional prana, and the prana is, ultimately the most healing. But it's chi that pushes it off or snaps it off, kind of closes the little wormhole, and you'll feel this sort of a snap, like there's some kind of rope that was attached to an energetic rope and it snaps off. So that's what happens when their focus is on you. So they're dumb as shit. I know when they're listening, I know when they're close, and I know when they're focused on me. So yeah, I just wanted to put that on video because it's been an interesting experience, because you all know how far away I am from anyone down here in my tent. I'm at least, if you watch my videos on my channel, I'm at least, 40, 30 meters away, something like that, like 30 meters away from anyone most of the time, unless it's summer and there's, a lot of people here. And so I've had a chance to really develop this. And I'll tell you what, when I go in the city, your crown chakra gets completely taken. And the crown chakra is for Kundalini, which is 4th dimensional. For healing the crown chakra, you say, Mother, grant me self-realization. Mother Kundalini. You say, grant me self-realization. And for the forehead, it's, forgive them all. So I have to do this every time that I go in the city. I cannot go in there without this happening, and it happens after minutes, 5 minutes. It's already done at 5 minutes. So you've got to realize that almost everybody in the city, in every city everywhere in the world, is completely connected up to the hive mind. And you guys don't even know it. And that's why I'm sure that most of you can barely understand what I'm talking about half the time. Most of you are taken. I already know that. And I'm not going to make any qualms about it anymore. I'm not going to pretend, because every time I go into the city, it's like 90% of people. And this is realm Parasiticos I've now figured out, universe reptile with the false eye, planet Snakeados. But it's realm Parasiticos, and even the Human Bacterium Project has proven that our bodies are more viruses, more bacteria than they are our own cells. Some people say 40%, I think it's more. But there's whole books written on this. There's even a book that says something like the title, like, You're Only 10% You. Again, with the 10% and the 10 and the 90%. Someone wrote that book, like, I don't know, I can't remember when, but it's sometime in the last 10 years, like it's a while ago. So, it's very interesting that Human Bacterium Project says it. Other authors out there have written books about it. Then there's people who are not completely onto it. They'll say 40%. It's 10%. You're outnumbered 9-1. I guarantee you. And this just has kept coming up over and over. And it's 99% of people who do not have light body skill, or are higher masters, or are with the higher light body fully impacted, called the immortal light body. And that means you'll have golden bones, your bones will heal. I've never had a broken bone. I was a gnarly kid, I remember spraining my ankle when I was in primary school, when I was like, I don't know, 10 to 12 years old or something. I don't know. Can't remember how old I was, but when I was very young, I sprained my ankle. But one time a surfboard, a Malibu, ran into me, and that fractured my what's it called, the funny bone on your elbow. That was at full pace when I duck dived, and it got my elbow and my ankle, and it's very interesting. It cut my ankle. I had to go to hospital, and that was a Malibu fin at full speed on a wave. So I mean, there wasn't too much I could do about that. But we heal incredibly quickly compared to them, I've noticed. And I remember watching this movie Assassin or something, and he's in the back of a truck after like a crazy fight scene, and he does all these mudras, hand movements, and what this does is what he was doing was orchestrating the blood flow around his body to heal quicker. And then he was meditating and doing mudras, and he healed incredibly quickly. That stuff is not made up. That's not fairy tale. That's like our special powers compared to them. They don't know this stuff. They think that stuff's all like made up, right? And light body skill, hanging in the air 1 second longer. The Kung Fu master in, what's that movie, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon? That movie, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, that stuff is true. When she's training the girl to, of course they make it a little bit extra, like over the top because it's a movie, but it's generally true. And I guarantee you there's masters out there that can do that. And you know how when she's training the girl to listen to the pendulum swinging, and like the girl's real angry and stuff, and it's when the guy's in the cage and she starts training with the older wise woman, and the older woman is like, don't I don't know, she says something like, I can't remember, but something like, don't look for it, listen to it, and she has to the young girl has to poke her sword through the pendulum as it swings, like right in the middle of the swing. So she just has to do a straight out poke with her hand, like straight forward. And I think she's blindfolded or something. I can't remember. Something like that kind of scene. And so she has to listen for the pendulum swinging to realize when the pendulum is directly in front of her, and she has to time her sword perfectly and put the tip of the sword through the pendulum hole. It's like a necklace or something. She swings like a pendulum, and then she has to get the tip of the sword perfectly in the hole, and she has to listen for like the ring, the sound of the ringing of the pendulum swinging through the wind. Organic portals can't do this stuff. That's light body skill. All of this is supersonic light body skill. So I don't know, I can train you in all this. I mean, I don't train like crazy in this. I'm not like dedicating my life like a monk in a monastery, but I have these skills, and if you're not an organic portal, you should be able to cultivate these to the degree that you can absolutely listen to everything I just said in this video and completely agree and know it to be true. So if you can't, consider, cultivating it, because if you want to find out if, you're listening to this channel for years now, and you're like, Ben, I want to know for sure if I'm one of these organic portals or not. Well, most likely if you're asking, you're not, right? But then there's a difference between the soul human and then because soul is part of this matrix. It's the informational entropical field. But if you want to find out if you're a higher self spirit human, you should have light body skills. It's as simple as that. For instance, I don't bruise anymore. Since I've cultivated my immortal light body, which is impacting your higher light body into your cellular structure, which takes 14 years or 2 cell cycles. Every 7 years, every cell in your body is renewed. It's called a cell cycle. It's every 7 years. That's the Christ number, by the way, and you're not waiting for a guy called Jesus Christ. You're actually meant to connect to your higher light Christ body, known as the light body, which is multidimensional. Anyway, when you fully impact your light body into your physical cellular structure, you have golden light in your bones, and you can create white blood cells at will, much faster, like that guy was doing in the movie Assassin in the back of the truck. He would have also been doing that, because he had cuts all over him and he healed by the next day. I mean, that's excessive, yes, but the idea is correct. Even though it was a movie yet again, so they make the idea a bit excessive and over the top, but the idea is completely correct. It's not phooey, it's not wrong, it's not fantasy. So this is one way you know if you're a soul human or a spirit human. I call us spirit walkers. Anyway, so these are light body skills, and I don't even bruise anymore. Sure, I can get cut, but it's interesting. I don't bleed the same as I used to. Even I don't bleed as much. I used to be, what's that word when you bleed more? I wasn't one of those people that don't stop bleeding, but I used to bleed a lot more than I do now. I also, because I've been cultivating the immortal light body for, I think, like 10 years consciously now. So I've only got like 3 or 4 years left to do this grounding, do the meditations, do the chi work that I do. And that's the true way out of here, because if you impact it into your cellular structure, it's all of you that's going to escape. There will be no reincarnation. Soul humans and organic portals are the only things that reincarnate here. And NPCs are the clones. Anyway, so, I don't even bruise anymore. It's interesting. I remember I was with a woman years ago, this lady, and she would bruise over the slightest little touch. I mean, we're laying in bed, I accidentally elbow her or something, and she has a big bruise the next day, right? All over her legs. I don't know, when we're doing it, and my knees are going here and stuff's banging around. She would have bruises. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? So I've come to realize now she didn't have a light body in her, right? So it's very interesting because I don't bruise anymore. This is all to do with light body impact, and when you have that, you're at a different layer of sensitivity to these people. They're literally made out of denser stuff than you, literally. So when people like that recently had a comment on one of my videos and said, "I don't mean to alarm you," some guy wrote, "but you have a skeleton inside that body." I thought, yeah, but my skeleton's filled with golden light. Yours is not. Yours is actually just bones, that's it. And these people bruise, and there's a whole lot of different things about them. And this is all higher light body relative. So yeah. And yes, I do give consultations on chi, on kundalini, on reiki, on diksha, on prana, whatever. I'm multi-dimensionally aware. But anyway, the point of this is that, they even will bruise. I don't bruise anymore. Isn't that interesting? It's very simple to explain. It's chi moves. Chi is movement energy. That's what chi is. Jing is the primordial, and then you create kui or chi in your stomach, the bottom danjian or tanchen. Then it goes to Shen, which is that auric, lovely energy, and then Wu Ji in the crystal room up the top. The Eye of Horus diagram, the seat of the soul, bloody pineal, and all that. It's called the crystal room by the Taoists. Anyway, so they're completely different. They don't heal like us. They don't have those sensitivities. That's why I can feel coronavirus. That's why I can literally feel it. I've said this in all the coronavirus videos, that I can feel it on an object like a heat. Sometimes within seconds, sometimes within 5 minutes. Depends what strain of the COVID it is. And it's the same thing with these organic portals. I can feel them, and it depends, how dense they are, if they're a robotic portal or an organic portal. And the robotic portal has a robotic sound, like you would expect. It's like squealing inside them. It's very interesting. It's more like the internet. Yes, the internet sound when you used to connect on the old modem, on your desktop computer, and it's going making all these weird sounds. That's what the robotic portals sound like inside. Yeah, it's very interesting, isn't it? And the organic portals, they have like more dense sound. It's not that same type of squealing like an old modem Wi-Fi connection. It's more like a dense, blobby feeling. Anyway, Benjamin Cowenberg, consciouszine.net.